Welcome to the Universe is Talking podcast. I'm your host, King.
And I'm your host, Aja.
This is episode 9 of season 3. Today's topic is love versus attachment. Me and Machiavelli are going to start this one off for us. And we actually going to take the opposite part of this topic first. We're going to go with quote unquote attachment. When we speak on this today, we being me and Machiavelli, we're speaking on men and what attachment from men may look like. So keep that in mind as I speak on this. I don't have any idea what attachment for a woman will feel like because I'm not a woman, I'm a man. So I'm only speaking for what attachment, quote unquote attachment, looks like for a man. So there's healthy attachment for a man when he loves his woman and she's the only woman that he sees in the entire world, in the entire galaxy. And everything that he does is about her. Everything that he does is for her and for him and for the betterment of the two of them, their family, their union. Every smile that he gives her is to show his attachment to her, his love for her in a sense, his commitment to everything that they are, his commitment to their future, his commitment to their present, his acknowledgement of their past, his commitment to their goals moving forward. That how he responds and how he treats her in regards to those things are symbols of the healthy attachment. Now we're going to go right into it versus a motherfucker who's really just trying to control the situation. That's what I really want to talk about. That's what me and Machiavelli are getting fired up about. Men who are actually disguising their love in the form of controlling the woman, but because they're disguising it pretty good, considering that the woman might not recognize exactly what's at play here by this man, because men have a way of doing things that only a man might understand, and women have a way of doing things that only a woman might understand. What might look like love that's coming from this man in the direction of the woman is actually him trying to control the situation. And again, that's what I want to talk about here. So when he's on your phone, every single time that you're going to or coming from that place that you're either going to or coming from, is he actually on the phone with you because he want to make sure that you're safe? Or is he trying to control the situation and make sure that you are actually going where you say you're going, with whom you say you're going there with? Are the people that you said will be at this occasion actually going to be there? Or are you dipping off to get some extra dick because he's gotten on your goddamn nerves? You know what? Here we go. I was trying not to talk about this yesterday, but in the barbershop yesterday, I won't say his name, but me and my barber was having a very interesting talk. And we was talking about men who don't bring anything at all into the situation. The woman provides every single thing. She provides the money. She provides the food. She provides everything that's in that household. The man's not working at all. All he's doing is laying up in her house, living room, bedroom, wherever, eating all the food, using up all the electricity, using up all of the hot water, playing a game, talking on the phone, etc. My response to that was, no matter what the situation is, the man always got to be a man. No matter who makes the most money, the woman can make all the money in the world, but as long as that man is being a man, he'll be looked at as a man. Mm-hmm. The woman has this man at the house who was in the same exact spot when she left, and now she's back and he's in that spot still. He probably ain't even washed his ass all day long. He's not contributing, so she's looking at him and wondering how the hell did she get caught up in this. Now, a broke man provides immaculate dick because he's putting it all on the line with this dick that he's providing. But that dick is not going to be enough to give her everything that she needs. I'm going to introduce Spartacus to you now, and Spartacus will be back in season 4. But Spartacus said the more intangibles that a man has, the more reasons the woman will have to fuck with him. Going back into this attachment situation, that man is insecure because he knows that he's not providing enough intangibles, if any at all, to give this woman what she needs. He's not giving her enough smiles. If he's one of these new men, he's not giving her flowers just because. Flowers could be like $5.99 depending on where you're getting it from if you don't have no money at all. But he's not even thinking about her enough, and he don't care about her smiles enough to provide that stimulation for her outside of his broke ass dick to give her these smiles. All he want to do is use the situation to his advantage because he's broke. He's not willing to go hustle and make any money. And I'm not necessarily saying hustle illegally, just hustle and get some money some kind of way. You can sell t-shirts. You can sell a roll of tissue paper on the side of the road for all anybody cares. Just provide something to the situation. But because he knows that he's not providing anything, he's now going to control her situation. Where you going? Who you going with? What time are you going there? What time are you coming back? What are you wearing? Why are you wearing? Why do you smell like that? Why you got to shower before you go? Why you showering as soon as you get back? It might look like attachment to the woman, and it might feel like attachment to the woman, but he's controlling the situation because he's scared that she's going to leave him. Truth be told, if she's going to leave regardless. There's nothing that you could do. I could promise you, there's absolutely nothing that you can do to stop her from leaving if she's going to leave. Best case scenario is that she respectfully goes ghost on your ass, and now you get a taste of what women go through when men go ghost on them. I know that I'm focusing a lot on this toxic attachment so that way women can recognize what it is, but by no means am I on the side of the woman with this. I just want everybody to be able to recognize exactly what's happening here. Do not mistake love or even healthy attachment for toxic attachment and being controlled and manipulated via that phone call or text. I just wanted to make sure you got there safe. I just wanted to make sure you got back safe. Send me the address just in case I got to come get you. It's always possible that if he wasn't in your life and something happened, you would have to call somebody else to come get you if something did go down. Why does he have to know every single address that you're at? Why does he have to be there every single time just to quote unquote make sure that you got there safe and to make sure that you were getting back safe? Men, and I'm speaking for men because I'm a man, men have a tendency of coming home late from time to time for whatever the reason might be. It don't have to be infidelity at all. We could just be running late, had an extra drink, 2, 3, 4, whatever. The game went into overtime, so we got in a little bit late from that. How is he going to react if you came in an hour late, an hour and a half late from wherever you were at? Is he going to be chill about it? Is he going to understand it? Is he going to want to know why at all? Or is he going to get violent and or abusive and start throwing things, directing his violence towards you directly? Is he going to react that way just because you got in a little bit late? You got to recognize the difference between love, healthy attachment, and somebody that's controlling. Therefore, they're eventually going to become abusive if they haven't been abusive already. And once you recognize that attachment that's toxic, what you thought was love is actually toxic attachment. Once you recognize that, you need to start figuring out what's your exit strategy in the safest way possible. Speaking of the safest way possible, if, and I hope this isn't the case, but if that man is one of those men who like to put their hands on women, the safest way out of that is to bring another man into the home to get you out. I could promise you any man that put his hands on a woman will never put his hands on a man. He's not built like that. If he was built like that, he would have never put his hands on that woman in the first place. A lot of men have a hand problem when it comes to women, but they won't dare raise a pinky finger to another man that's in their face. At that point, they start putting their head down. They want to talk and use words at that point. They don't have that same energy for the man that they have for the woman. Circles right back around to his insecurity as a man. A lot of men like to be on the giving end of the fucked up shit that happens in relationships rather. But the moment that man has to receive the same exact treatment that he gave, now he's heartbroken. Now he's losing his mind. Now the whole world has to be burnt and destroyed just because he's feeling what a lot of women has felt directly from him and by him. Mm-hmm. The rule is don't do it if you don't want it done to you. If you can't handle it, don't ask somebody else to handle it. If you could do it, she could do it. That's the rule. If you're going to play by the rules all the way. If you want to be in the game, you got to respect the game all the way. Me and Q had a conversation, of course. And it was a great conversation. We went back and forth, and we've done what we've done in the times when we've done it. Whatever happens back to us in regards to that, we respect it 100%. It's not a crime against you to do anything that you want to do. This relationship between us is whatever it is that we agreed that it will be and it should be. If we agreed that I can't put myself in this situation because I can't begin to be the toxic attachment guy. But if you and that man agreed to have that toxic attachment, then cool, great. Everybody need to mind their motherfucking business about your relationship and stay out of it because you love that toxic attachment and he loves being the toxic attachment man to you and for you. Your relationship is everything that you need, is everything that he needs. You two crackheads are flourishing in your crackheadedness. But if that toxic attachment is not what you signed up for, and I understand you might get tricked by the moves because I've been listening to things in 2021 and 2022, and men are doing a good job of disguising that controlling trait. They're doing a good job of disguising that toxic attachment trait. So I understand that women might look at it as a man that really cares about their well-being and wondering if they're okay. But the moment that you do finally recognize, whenever that time comes, that is actually toxic attachment and is not love, is not gentle at all, it's controlling, is not patient at all, it's demanding, not in a role play role, demanding you to get on your fucking knees and suck this dick right now. Not that type of role play. Not that type of demand. The demand of, no, don't go there unless I say. You're a grown woman. You don't need anybody telling you where you could go and when you could go or else. Mm-hmm. That's not what you signed up for. Get out of it. Right. I don't have the actual numbers on this, but it got to be 1 billion or 2 billion men in this world. There has to be somebody else for you that is going to give you the love that you need exactly how you need it.
Even if it's yourself. You know, exactly. Sometimes you do have to fly solo. Even if it's temporary, I'm not saying we're all destined to be alone for the rest of our lives, but there has to be a point where we're okay with being with ourselves and just by ourselves until we find a situation, like you said, that we agree works for us. You know, if you want to have an attachment or you want to have a more committed and loving relationship, you just need to make sure that the person that you're with is on the same wavelength as you are. Some of the things you said I want to come at it from a different angle, and less about control and more about um when we have an attachment to someone, but it's not deeper than that. It's just an attachment. I think that it's important to have attachments in romantic relationships. Like you said earlier, like you want to be with this person. It's like we're using the word attachment, but you want the person that you're with to want to be with you. You want them to care about maybe where you are, maybe not all the time, not every second of the day, but you want someone who's going to care about your well-being. You want them to be attached to you in some kind of way. Otherwise, when you're detached, the opposite of that is like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck where she at. I don't give a fuck what she doing. I don't give a fuck if she here or not here. You want attachment. So there are healthy attachments, as you said. So I hate when I see right now where people are like, you don't want attachments, you want connections. You want both. you know, you want deep connections with people that you're attached to. And all of that can be part of a loving relationship. So I think we're too quick to define things and like carve out what a good relationship is. But relationships include a lot of shit. Good relationships can also include some possessiveness. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that being with a possessive person is a good relationship, but I think that some possessiveness is okay. Like someone saying, that's my fucking woman. You know what I mean? Like, that's my man. There's nothing wrong with feeling some sort of ownership while at the same time respecting that person isn't property. Like, that person is free to move about. That person has their own autonomy. So recognizing that we're allowed to have all of these various emotions and experiences within a relationship is important. So attachment in a loving relationship is normal and is part of it, I think. Well, at the same time, sometimes that's as far as it goes. Is people are attached to you, but they're not in love with you, or they don't love you. They don't want to go any deeper than wanting to be with you. So when I hear people say, I just like spending time with her, that's nice. And if that's all she wants, and you both agree that that works, that you like to be near each other and you like to spend time with each other and you like to have sex and you like to watch the game, there's nothing wrong with that if that's the relationship you want. But I think that women, because I'm a woman, I can only speak for women. I think that women can often find themselves becoming attached to people and growing deeper feelings for those people, finding out that they don't have deeper feelings. So they had the attachment, for however long, but that was as far as it went. Maybe he has multiple people that he's attached to. You know what I mean? And like he's cool with spending time with you, but like you are not the love of his life. You are not rocking his world to the point where he's about to give up everything to focus on you. And I think being able to recognize that is important. And I think doing that at a time that's critical. So not moving too fast in your attachment, finding yourself soon enough in like stopping yourself from moving into the love phase and the commitment phase in your mind and in your heart before knowing that that's where he is, before knowing whether he's willing to devote more of his time, his energy, his experience to you. I think that's important because then you're attached and then he's going to grow detached because you've moved too fast. And this is not what he's looking for. So King's saying that it's important that in any relationship you agree upon where you're going is important, because I think people are fine with not having strings. Some people are fine with only screwing, once a year. I've heard of people saying, like, I don't even talk to the person, but we meet up once a year. But that's what they are fine with. Maybe they have relationships with other people. I'm not condoning, infidelity or um I don't know, like deceit. I'm not condoning situations where all the people involved are not aware of what's taking place. However, it happens. It's life. This shit happens. If they agree upon meeting up once or twice a year, and in the middle of them two times that they meet up a year, they barely communicate, but they're cool with that, that's their relationship. And that may just be about attachment to each other when they come together. But when they're apart, no attachment, no consistent love. Maybe we don't need to define love and attachment as much as we need to trust ourselves, learn to trust ourselves, and know that some things just feel right and feel good to everybody, and some things don't. And removing yourself from situations that don't feel right for you. I was responding to someone on social media, I think it was yesterday, and the question was 25 and over crew, does it get easier? And my response was that it does when you learn to let go of attachments at the right time. Because I really believe that that is like the secret is knowing when to let go. We are attached to more than just men. We are attached to more than just our jobs. We're attached to a lot of shit. We get attached to a lot. We get attached to our phones. We get attached to our friends. And sometimes those people aren't really our friends. We get attached to behaviors. We get attached to TV. We get attached to everything. There's so many attachments in this world and in our lives. And we end up in a rut because we don't let go when those things are no longer serving us. And that is what we've been talking about all season. It's just that there is a point where the thing that was good for a period of time is no longer good. And if you learn to let go of those things when they are done serving the purpose in your life, and I don't mean you got to be rude about it. I'm not saying you got to cut people off without speaking to them first. There may be a gradual letting go. I'm one of them type of people where my mind knows what needs to happen, but my heart is stuck. But my mind is strong. So my mind is already like pushing me to make several decisions to change and move away from the thing that is no longer serving me. So it may take me a year to detach from the thing I'm attached to, but my mind has already done it. I just got to get the rest of me to let it go. I got to get my heart on the same place, in the same place as my mind. I got to get my behaviors to line up with what I already know. I know this is not good for me. I know these people are not good for me. I know this situation is not good for me, and I got to let it go. So I tell people all the time, I counsel them all the time. You do not have to be like, go cold turkey. You don't have to say, I'm done and be done. That works for some people. Some people convince themselves that it works too. All the while they're bitter, they're in pain, they hurting. Maybe it ain't working. Maybe they let it go in theory, but then everything that they did afterwards shows they weren't really over it. Some of us, though, have to go through the gradual letting go process. And for me, it works because when I finally do get to the end of that process, I'm clear. Like, I don't got no questions. I've done everything that I had to do. I've done the work inside myself. So it leaves me not bitter. I'm like one of them people where when stuff is done, I can literally still have my heart. I can still be a good person. I can still love fully and completely and not be angry at people every time I'm talking to them because I've worked on my heart the whole time. That's a me thing though. But I'm sharing because someone is watching, someone's listening, and they're like, I don't know how to let go. You don't have to let go all at once to your attachments, to him, to her. You don't got to do it like that. But as long as you know you keeping your mind with you this entire time, you're going to start making changes. Start giving, maybe giving less of yourselves, not doing as much for this person because you know it's not appreciated. Start pulling back when necessary. Start going, okay, instead of explaining yourself. You got to know to gradually pull yourself away to the point where when it gets to the end and they show you that you are right in believing that this shit is done, that you could just truly say, okay, I'm good, and be good and be done.
Pay attention to the responses to you pulling back as well. If there's no response, no reaction, no change at all, then like I was just saying, continue on your course, continue on your path, and get yourself out of this situation in your time when you are ready. I agree with that 100% because we all know it. For every action, there's a reaction. If you're getting no reaction whatsoever, this shit is done. You're just the last one to acknowledge it at that point. Whatever the reason might be for it ending, accept that reason. Don't don't beat yourself up about it. It's not about you not being enough for that person. It's not that you did something wrong. It's not none of that. Whatever the reason might be, this is ending and it was always meant to end. However that end comes is going to come. If you try to prolong the ending, it's going to end anyway. And I like that Aja told us that it comes a time when we have to get out because there is a such thing as staying in something for too long. If you can end it at that perfect moment, what I would call the sweet spot, it could end perfectly. No hard feelings. We had a great time, but this wasn't meant to go any further than what it's been. Mm-hmm. But if you did find yourself in that situation where you realize that that person switched up on you and they're not providing all of themselves to that relationship, to that marriage, the way that they are required to by you in order to love you the way that you need to be loved, go ahead and start pulling yourself away from that situation.
And the way that you agreed upon, I think that we've talked about this many times, is being in a relationship and coming to an agreement on what this relationship will be like. And then this person deciding, I'm not doing it. And then they don't communicate, because we've talked about that as well. Is that when you're going to change up, the change is inevitable. But when you're going to change up, you owe it to your partner to talk about the change. Like, you owe it. Like, it's your responsibility. Because when you started it, you agreed upon getting in a relationship. I think this is the part that bothers me about the way we move in relationships, is there's always a gradual coming together when you come into a relationship and you talk through everything. Like, that's a big part of coming together in relationships, is the talking, the whining, the dining, the dating. You do all these things to win this person and to come together. Then you get with this person and things are good, but something happens with you, one of you, and you don't decide at that point to do all that talking that you did when you was coming in. It ends. Like, people then don't want to communicate that, like, my feelings are changing, or my responsibilities are changing, or I want to try something new. People don't say anything then. So what happened to all of that energy that you put in the beginning to win this person? and bring them into the attachment and the love and the relationship. Why are you no longer doing those things now that you have them? You done pulled them in. You owe it to them now to say, I need to pull back or I need to switch up. But oftentimes people don't do that. After that, they go, this is like, I'm doing my thing now. Like, I don't owe it to you to tell you all I'm doing. Well, you owe it to me to tell me what you're doing that impacts me. Right? Like, we did this together. What you're doing now is like absent of me, but it's impacting me. I need to know. Are we still this? Are we still doing this? What is happening? Because you didn't change your energy. And oftentimes we don't get that from the person when they're switching up. This is why it's hard to let go, because all you have are the promises of yesterday. So I know, sis, you got the promises of yesterday. He done said, we in this together. He done said, I love you. This is going to be forever thing, girl. He's saying all this stuff, but his actions don't line up.
I can tell you why his actions not lining up.
Why ain't they lining up?
Because he caught his other woman cheating on him, and now he heartbroken.
Okay.
So he might need some love and affection from his woman that's really his woman now to help him get over the heartbreak of his other woman cheating on him. That's some fucked up shit too. How dare her go off with some other man when he in this committed relationship with her and his other her. She want to go out and now get her another him. That's some fucked up shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've said it before. We all have a right to change. Like, we have that right too. I don't think that the right of the person to know about the changes is stronger than my right to change. I still have a right to change. I do not have to stay the same. However, depending on the level of commitment, I am required to communicate about my changes. I may even be required, or it may be the better thing for my relationship if I intend to continue in my relationship, to communicate why I'm changing as well. I think that's important too. Sometimes it's important to be independent and independent thinking. I'm very independent. Just like I'm it used to be terrible in the earlier parts of my marriage. Just terrible in the sense that, like, I wouldn't want him to buy me nothing. I did not want to be one of them people that was like having a man take care of me, even though he's my husband. It was like his responsibility from a traditional sense to take care of me. But I was like, I got this. I got my own shit. I can take care of my own everything. I was terrible. It took a long time to get to the place where I was okay with him taking care of me. I needed him to know I could take care of myself too. Like, it was a big thing for me. Like, okay, you can buy this, but you know I can get this too, right? Like, it was important. I did not want to be that girl who was begging, who needed somebody to care for me. I needed to make it clear, like, I can do this. Okay.
He didn't care about that shit.
What'd you say?
He didn't care about that shit.
No,
I know he did.
He kept it up until I learned. What I learned was that I was, and this is me getting deep for a second, I wasn't accustomed to anyone outside of my mother and my family, truly, but really and truly, it was like the only person I ever relied upon was my mom. I was not accustomed to anyone taking care of me. I didn't trust anybody to do it because no one had done it. And when you don't trust anyone to do it for you, you learn to take care of yourself, and you don't want anyone to do it because you don't want to rely upon it, and then that person pull it from you. Because now what you gonna do? See, that's that fear of abandonment. And I'm not getting like all, this isn't like a psych thing. I'm just saying real to real. Like, when you're accustomed to not having someone care for you or people leaving you hanging, it becomes this mechanism where you don't want no one to do it, because you know that if you get accustomed to them doing that, then they change on you. Like we said, people have a right to change. Then they do that. Now what you gonna do? It's like, damn, like I got used to this man caring for me. But I'm saying all this to say I understand what it means to be independent in your thinking and in your person. And then thinking you don't owe no one nothing. You don't owe anyone, but you do when you are in a partnership. Let's make this very clear. I don't understand why anyone would choose to be in relationships and then say, I don't owe this person nothing. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You do owe it to this person. You pulled this person in emotionally, physically, everything. You made them believe in everything. And they did the same thing with you. Y'all gathered yourselves and joined in something. And you decided, for whatever reason, this attachment, no matter how deep, how strong, no matter how connected, whatever, wasn't for you no more. Or you needed to change it. You owe them conversation about it. However, on the other side, if you don't get that shit from him, learn to let go. Because, see, love cares, love communicates. So here's the topic: attachment versus love. I'm going to tell you, break it down. Love cares, it is considerate. Even if you're not a Bible person, look at the Bible. There's a definition of love, and it's pretty universal. It doesn't keep track of wrongdoing. It's not envious. It's not jealous. It's not spiteful, hateful. Okay. It doesn't keep track of all the things you done did for it. Love cares. Love is giving. Okay. Attachments can be on a superficial level. Great. It is what you need in loving relationships that keeps you bound together, doing things constantly with each other. It keeps you connected, and oftentimes it leads to something deeper. However, if all you have is attachment and you don't have the other things, no deeper connection, and that ain't what you want, you got to learn to let go, because it's going to hurt you. Because when he starts doing his thing and you sitting there, all in la la land, and you sitting there circling his name and putting little hearts around it and doing Aja plus blah blah blah, and he ain't even there with you, okay, that's attachment. If he's like wanting to control your behavior, if he acts like, yeah, I want to know where you going and who you with and all this, and first you think it's cute because it's like, oh, he cares. But whenever you need to know where the fuck he at, he'll never have nothing for you. Okay. He doesn't call you at times when it would make you feel good. As King said, he doesn't do anything to like speak to you. Speak to the woman in you. No flowers, if that's your thing. If you're into flowers, I love yellow roses. If he don't give you the yellow roses and that's your shit, he knows it's your shit, he ain't giving it to you. What is that? I'm just using that as an example. Whatever it is that makes you feel like a woman with him and he's not feeding that, maybe it's just an attachment. And if you want more and it's not going to happen, let it go. So, as I told the young woman who asked, does it get easier after 25? I said, and I'm paraphrasing, when you learn to let go of attachments at the right time, when you learn that it's not all about being right in life. Being right is not the end all be all. Sometimes y'all trying to make y'all point because you want to be right. It's okay to be wrong. And it's okay that it don't matter. You can just let shit go. And great orgasms. That's what makes life easier. Seriously, that's the answer. That's what makes life easier after 25. You get to the point where you're just at peace. and learning to be wise, because in wisdom, and I told my daughter this the other day, when you're wise, you know you're wrong. You know, sometimes your ass is wrong, but you learned. You learn and you can make better decisions tomorrow. That's the secret. So, love versus attachment is all about letting go. Letting go, because love will stay and attachment will disappear, right?
I like that. That was a good one.
Thank you.
But pause,
Okay.
because there are a lot of women that put their independence first and foremost in a relationship.
Hmm.
So in closing, I gotta say this: it don't matter what you as the woman are doing in that relationship with the man, that man will always be a man, no matter the environment or the situation. So go ahead, show him your independence and show it to him again. And 3 years down the line, still show him your independence. That man is going to be a man no matter what you are doing, no matter what environment the two of you are in, no matter what the situation between the two of you are. The moment that he stops being a man, you might have to consider being in a lesbian relationship then, since he's not being a man anyway. You got with him to be your man. He needs to be a man. He needs to show and prove that he can and will be your man no matter what the situation is. If he can't handle you making more money than him, if that so happens to be the case in that situation, you might have to consider being in a lesbian relationship, because he's not man enough to handle you making more money than him.
Can I add something to that though?
Mm-hmm.
I think that in this world and economy, and really in our lives, um we're melanated people, okay? And the reality is that there is a system that has been rigged from the very beginning of our time in this experience in capitalism that has not allowed our men to historically make good money, not the bulk of our men, and be the type of provider that they need to be, while also allowing Black women to continue to rise in corporate structures and make more money. I think some of that are the decisions that have been made that have kept people back from rising as well, men from rising as well, and being able to provide at higher levels than the women that they're with. So, yes, you may live in a household where you are making more money than he is making, and he should not resent you for that. However, you should not throw that in his face either. Okay? Like, I think that there's a responsibility in relationships and marriages.
She can throw it in his face. I mean, we just came out of a snow season. She gonna need him to shovel the car. She ain't gonna shovel the car out of the snow. She might pay for somebody to shovel the car, but she want to have that satisfaction of being able to look out the window and see him lifting that snow from under the car, throwing it wherever he want to throw it. And he might look in the window and act like he about to hit her with the shovel because she's been talking shit all week, just to remind her that he is the motherfucking man.
But what I'm saying,
All right, I'm calm.
like from a serious, I'm saying
Oh,
this
I was
because
serious.
I'm serious,
Okay.
okay?
All right.
Is that we don't always have to be talking about money.
Mm-hmm.
There comes in marriages that have found some level of peace, relationships that have found level of peace. You know, this goes to my point of not always being right. You don't gotta throw shit in people's face. You don't gotta say, I make more money. You don't gotta talk about your contribution being higher than another person's contribution. As long as you two have settled whose responsibilities are what, and that everything is handled, you know, that everybody who's willing and capable of doing what needs to be done in that household is doing those things that they committed to, and you're all fine. There's no point to continue to bring up that you are the breadwinner. I think that that conversation is old and is definitely divisive in a household, is to say who has more.
I agree.
because it's y'all's. Not to say that you aren't a independent entity within your coupleness and that you aren't the person earning that money and that you shouldn't have certain things in place where you're earning the money that you're earning is also at your benefit in case things don't work out, or just because you have your own individual things that you want to get off and you need to have your own money. Not to say that you cannot have independence in your money, but when you have decided to live this life together, y'all are a collective. So you don't have to keep saying, I'm the one who brings in, 75% of the income in this household and you bring in 25. That don't even need to be a conversation. It doesn't. The only time y'all really need to be focusing on the kind of money is when it's time to do taxes and when it's time to rewrite the budget and those kind of things. Like, you're going to recognize who makes more money, but it does not need to be a topic. And it especially does not need to be a topic with a man who is a man. If he is doing like what King said, if he's being a man, he's not sitting on his ass doing nothing. He just so happens to earn less. Or maybe he's having a hard time. But him outside of that hard time, he's put in work. He's done his very best. Don't throw shit in his face. You wouldn't want it to happen to you. You don't want him to throw nothing in your face. Don't throw it in his. Again, love. Why aren't we loving each other? Why are we trying to be right? Why does that shit matter? It don't matter. When you love someone, you do not keep count. You give and receive. As long as the other person is giving all they got and you're giving all you got, that's it. That's all that matters. It is. It's all that matters. Y'all be worried about the wrong shit and be alone. Be alone all day talking about this nigga ain't got this and y'all messing with these broke niggas, blah, blah, blah. Is she happy? Is she motherfucking happy? Is that broke nigga making her happy? Stop worrying about it. They not talking about money in their house. That's why they happy. Y'all worrying about the wrong shit and be alone. Talking about all y'all do is do this and do that. But where you at? What are you doing? What you got? You ain't got shit. You got a nigga cheating on you too. And you're unhappy. You know how I know? Because you're here. You're here. You're talking about it. All damn day talking about it. If your ass was happy, you wouldn't have shit to say. Because he would have dicked you down. You wouldn't have words. You wouldn't have no words. King is not the only person that can talk shit. I can talk shit too. And I'm tired of seeing it. Y'all sorry asses. Stop judging people. Stop trying to be right. Worry about your own shit. Get your own business. Get you a good dick. That's going to shut you the fuck up.
Yeah. Get good dick, get great dick, and shut the fuck up.
Get some good orgasms. When you do that, you be happy. You don't have time to be mad about other people's situation. You don't care. You do not care. And you don't care when he don't have as much as you. Now, do I condone a nigga, using you, taking? No. But if he's a good man, he just does not have all that shit these other chicks is talking about he need to have. Y'all sitting there comparing and missing out on good things when that man loving you.
Take us on.
I don't even know what the fuck I'm supposed to say at the end of this. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to The Universe is Talking. It was a pleasure. I hope you got something from this. Until next time.